Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Ketuo Kamasu, or at least that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Kamasu or Kamasu is Japanese for barracuda. Which is the inspiration behind the design of this knife. This was designed by Braden Sweeten, and you can actually read about it on the Ketuo website. This knife is available right now. I will link it right down below so you guys can check it out. Thanks so much to Ketuo for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. A little bit about the brand Ketuo. So they seem to share branding kind of with Reich. It's confusing because Ketuo is its own website and its own brand, but oftentimes they sort of share in the name under Reich. And sometimes there are knives that are Reich Ketuo and manufactured by Reich. Sometimes in the case of this knife, it's Ketuo branded and apparently, according to the website, manufactured by Ketuo. It's likely that the manufacturer is one and the same, but I don't know. It's kind of confusing. That's what I know about it. It seems to be made to the exact same standards of other recent Reich knives, or if you're not familiar with Reich knives, very good is the way that I'll describe that. So there you go. It'll be linked down below. You can read about it and come to whatever conclusion you want to. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knew. Did I do my full intro? I think I did. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of this knife. It is definitely not a tiny knife. Overall length is, wow, 8.85 inches overall, 4-inch blade, all of 4 inches. Cutting edge, 3.75. It actually doesn't feel like a monster knife. Like when it's folded up, it's fairly compact, which is nice for anybody who likes the idea of carrying a larger pocket knife without wanting to carry around all of that extra mass. It's still big, but not titanic. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons real quick. All the custom scales on these knives you can find down in the description under Original Goat or Flytanium. So up against a knife like the Demco AD10, you can see what I'm talking about here. It's big, but it's not quite as titanic as the AD10. How about up against the AD20.5? Here we go, obviously a much smaller knife. How about up against the Spyderco PM2? We're gonna move this back down a bit, trying to get it in the grid lines there. Up against the PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3, so definitely a little bigger than even the PM2. And then last but not least, how about the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. And let's do the Hogue Deca. There we go. Switching it up for some of the size comparison stuff here. How's the action? Pretty good. Runs on bearings and is just about wanting to fall shut on its own. It doesn't need much encouragement, but just a little bit. The flipper tab, it can be light switched, it can be push buttoned. I think the detent could stand to be slightly heavier for the flipper tab, though as it sits, it's a little bit difficult to get your finger in there to do the reverse flick because that little hole is tucked away. Boy, there's just no escaping the innuendo there, is there? You really gotta dig at it. You know, if this were cut a little bit lower, mainly on the lock side, you could get in. You can still get in there. It's just it's almost like the detent feels slightly not too bad, slightly a little too light for the flipper tab, and slightly too heavy for the amount of effort you have to use to get in there to do it. But you can still do it, and it certainly isn't a deal breaker. It's just me being a nitpicky reviewer. So yeah, the action is good enough, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It is definitely a little bit, not super thick, but on the thicker side. Length and height up against the PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. When closed, this thing really won't take up much more room in the pocket than the Spyderco PM2, and that's kind of what I was talking about there. Height-wise, it's nowhere near as tall as either. It's really just going to be a little bit thicker. So what are the materials here? We have titanium, then we have a scale. This is not an actual bolster, it's a faux bolster because it's part of the frame. We have a scale of what looks to be, it's like a marbleized, like a thin marbleized carbon fiber. And then titanium on the other side, a little pivot collar, titanium clip, titanium backspacer, and an M390 blade that has been tumbled. What's the hardness on the M390? I don't know because it's not listed on the website. This was also listed at White Mountain Knives where they also don't have the HRC listed. To Ketuo, I think Reich on their website, they list the HRC. So to Ketuo on your website, you guys need to be listing the HRC. It's probably the industry standard. It's not just with Chinese companies, but with American companies and lots of other companies, they seem to hit it right at 59 to 61. I can only speculate. I don't have the proper equipment to test it, right? I mean, you could go out and cut for hours and hours and hours on various types of material and resharpening it and cutting it again, but I'm not the channel that does that. We have plenty of channels that do that, right? So in terms of getting the accurate Rockwell hardness, what would be really easy is if Ketuo just lists it. So Ketuo, from now on, if you're watching this video, please list the Rockwell hardness on your website because otherwise it's hard to say. And people would really like to know because that's definitely an important element, especially considering this is not a cheap knife. Anyways, let's go ahead and weigh it. The weight on this knife, by the way, the internals on one side are milled out. It's interesting, they only did the inlay on one side. Probably would have been cool to have it on this side, but we've got an exposed frame lock, so okay. But that did leave room for some internal milling, which you guys can probably see from that angle there. Weight. I'm gonna guess this weighs about 5 1/4. Ooh, 5 1/2. Okay, not bad. About what I expected. I mean, you're getting a 4-inch blade, so it's not the worst, but it's still noticeable. Balance is going to be behind, slightly behind that primary index finger position. So it really doesn't feel too bad. You know, for a 5 1/2 ounce knife, not bad. But that's a decision that you'll have to make for yourself. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm gonna get out my tools. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. The pivot is most likely a T8. Is it bigger? Ooh, it is. Yay, that's always a nice surprise. Why? Well, in my experience, the larger the fastener, the less likely you are to strip it. Obviously, that has to do with depth as well, but this is fine for me. It's even, wait, just, I know this is weird, but I'm gonna try T15 real quick. No, T10. T10 pivot, and then what we're looking at is actually, we've got T6 for the pocket clip and lock bar insert screw. I'm not even gonna check those. I know a T6 when I see one, all right? I've dealt with enough of those things to know the dreaded T6 head. And then the body screws, fortunately, are T8, couple on each side. So really pretty good. I'm not gonna count them off for a T6 on a pocket clip screw. It should be very, very easy to disassemble and maintain as long as you have the right tools for the job. Should be good to go. Let's measure the blade stock thickness here real quick. Blade stock thickness coming in at about 145 thousandths. It's a little bit on the thicker side, but not too bad. Okay, I think we can move on here. Time for the meat and potatoes. So this is a pretty straightforward design. It's got a couple of personality areas, right? There's kind of almost a fuller through the center, and that actually is concave, which is interesting. I wonder if I can kind of show that. And then we have heavily chamfered, areas right here, and it's actually been knocked down again at the edge. So the end result is it's pretty comfortable. The pocket clip isn't super duper long for the overall length of the handle, and the handle itself is a pretty straightforward sort of traditional knife handle. So, it's going to be comfortable. There's a little bit of jimping up here, which is nice, kind of complements the index finger position. And the blade shape, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it a reverse tanto, which always, kind of shakes some people's beehives. I don't care. You can, if you want, you can classify, you can get up real technical and you can type everybody up a big long paragraph right down in the description. I'm going to keep calling blades like this reverse tanto because that's what it looks like to me. But as you can see, it is a variation of triangle to get really scientific with it. This blade has a point and it also has an edge. And then we've got this sort of slant right here. So however you want to classify it, you can physically see what it is. The flat up here has actually been satin finished, and then the as it tapers off to the final cutting apex, this whole area has been tumbled, which looks nice. This area right here, it looks like it may have actually been blasted. So there's actually 3 different finishes going on here. This would have been really great to be able to access, but the vast majority of it is hidden so much underneath the frame that you really can't get at it. So it would have been nice if the blade were just slightly taller, or if it just like tapered up a little bit. That way there was enough material to get at, but not, no dice, So, okay. It is a very utilitarian blade shape, though. I mean, I like knives like this where the tip is angled down because it makes it a little easier to do a draw cut, and it will absolutely slice. The cutting edge is about medium. I'm not going to call it thin. It's not thick. It'll do the job. Excuse me. It'll do the job, though. I mean, if you EDC this knife and you want to cut with it, poke with it, whatever, use it like a knife and not like a pry bar, then you'll be good to go. It's going to do that. I don't think I mentioned, but there's plenty of access to the lock bar, and there's also no double clutch, which is great. That's the way that we want to see it. The pivot has also been sort of caved in, kind of like a bowl. I kind of like that. There's a blue pivot collar. I don't think you have a choice. In fact, I don't think there's any other variation of this. Your only choice is carbon fiber, blasted titanium, blue pivot collar, and this blade shape with this finish, which is fine, right? I mean, it's neutral enough that a lot of people are going to be happy with it. It says Ketuo on this side. On the other side, it doesn't say anything except for the M390 on the flipper tab, which is fine. It keeps the look nice and clean. Transition from the titanium to the scale is very, very good. This is one of those things that kind of nods to most likely whoever's manufacturing this stuff. It's the same for Ketuo, for Reich. It's the same people, right? When you see that type of tolerance mixed with everything else, right? Like centering, detent, solidity, right? Attention paid to little teeny tiny elements that knife people nitpick at this price point. It starts to stand out a bit. Not quite as technical as something like the Cyber whatever, or some of the sort of sheathed frame construction knives that Reich has been making. But also, I have to point out, those are in a totally different price tier. This is not as expensive, right? It's a less complicated build, so it makes sense that the price is less. We have a gear pattern backspacer back here, which is nice, looks good. We have a little lanyard bar, nothing too crazy going on here. The gears are raised just a little bit. No mounting position for lefties. Sorry, lefties, not this time. Pocket clip is straightforward. It's nice and rounded off. I mean, this is just a straightforward good clip. I like this clip. I don't like right here underneath how it comes up and then over. I always think it should come, sort of swooping like this, kind of like a ski jump. That way you can push it in to your pocket with one hand and the clip will rise to meet the general, whatever your thickness of pocket seam is, right? But it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes these tend to be a little pinchy, but the retention on this isn't so intense that I, would worry about that. It's a little design, almost like a tapering fuller, milled into the pocket clip, looks good. And then the clip is nested into the frame, which is why it only needs one screw. So that's fine. There's a steel lock bar insert that doubles as the over travel stop. There's a good bit of shouldering there on the back of the blade. No blade play up, down, left, or right. No lock stick. No double clutch. No pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here, and it's, like I said, kind of a medium detent. Centering on this has remained centered the entire time I've had it, and it's got no detent lash. Overall, it's fine, right? I mean, it's a good, larger knife. Almost every element of this knife is something that we have seen before, so if you're looking for complete and total originality, I don't think you're going to find it here, but I can't pretend that the design isn't good, it's not made well. It is. The price is, I think, about $250, which doesn't make me upset, but it doesn't overly excite me either. That's kind of right around the range that I expect a lot of Wii knives to be, and they tend to be, $30, $40, $50 more for not a whole lot, right? Sometimes they've got some more interesting elements. This is kind of the general competition zone that I'm seeing this in, right? Your premium Bestex, your premium Wii knives. A lot of the stuff that Kunwu puts out has this beat, right? It's in that zone, but it's not the best deal I've ever seen. It's okay, and if you like how this looks, you're definitely going to be happy with the knife. If you just want a nice premium knife made out of premium materials that's got a good functional build and is on the larger side, that's what this is, right? If you're looking for the best deal in the world with a whole bunch of originality, it's not what this is, right? So you're gonna have to make that decision for yourself, but generally speaking, it's all right. It's not something that I'm, ready to shout at the top of the mountains and say this is the most amazing thing in this category, the most amazing deal, right? So it's really only going to be interesting to a certain group of people, which is, to be fair, is the same with any knife, but it's a functional quality design, right? Made by a quality manufacturer in China. If you didn't know that, this knife is made in China. Some people still don't know that. If you didn't and you're shocked by this, well, there's a whole world for you to discover. But to everybody else, which is the vast majority of people watching right now, you probably already knew that. And it's fine. It's good. That's really all I have to say about it. So I hope there's enough here for you to make a decision for yourself, but that's going to be pretty much it from me today. Thanks so much to Ketuo for sending this in. Like I said, I'll link it down below. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.